Hello, good morning, viewers. It's a privilege for me to welcome Col.Rabi Mukerjee, a seasoned group testing officer. He has been a senior GTO at 20 SSB Bhopal, as well as 18 SSB Allahabad. With that loads of experience of assessing the candidates, I thought it would be beneficial, for the aspirants who are going for the SSB to have his take on the group testing technique per se. So without any further ado, let me welcome Col. Mukerjee.
Thank you so much, sir. It's an honor to be connected with you and be on this forum. It's a pleasure, sir.
Yes. If I start by, asking you your motivation to join the army, and thereafter, if you could just run through a brief about your journey in the army till the time, of course, you've hung your uniform.
Yes, sir. That's actually something now that I assess candidates. This part about me joining the armed forces is, I guess it was in my DNA. I have been born in a family which is basically of academicians. I had nothing but books in my house. However, my father, with his scientific bent of mind, had his own liking towards the armed forces. So we would be mostly on many occasions discussing about a lot of military technology and such like things. And apart from that, I had a lineage of my grandfather having served in the First World War and having fought with the British forces somewhere in Gallipoli or somewhere in that area.
Okay.
So these little entrails had brought in a bit of interest, and I guess right since childhood I had some, it was automatic that I wanted adventure and challenge in my life. And therefore I had a liking towards everything which would be into action. So I was fond of all Fauji stuff. And one of the other were very beautiful two books which influenced me to read. And they were all talking about the various personalities who took part in the world wars. So these were the Reader Digest book on the basically on the Second World War. But it would be giving out, it was more of an influence in terms of some kind of personalities, how they affected various situations in the World War and how they saved their countries and how they took action. So these, they were kind of these heroes for me.
Okay.
For example, there was a pilot called Franz von Vera from the German Air Force. Then there was a person, who prevented the Germans from stealing the nuclear material from Norway. So these kind of people, they kind of used to be the ones who would occupy my mind. And that is how, sir, I ended up having my compass always set on the armed forces. And that's how the career has been, sir.
Yeah, I think these are the youthful times, very formative years, impressionable years, when you get to like something like this. And then, of course, as you, go out of school or graduate, that's the time to take a call for your, career choice. So how has that been?
Yes, this also comes in your life when you're trying to look into vistas which are there in for developing your career in the future. And therefore, I also did, having been from the science background, naturally the route ahead in those days was basically being an engineer or a doctor or an academician. And that was the route out. And especially being from Delhi, you really don't have some kind of a martial influence. As in, especially in places like Delhi University, you don't get to see such situations in this state. For example, compared to that, a state like Haryana and Punjab, you would have a familial influence coming in from the armed forces, whereas here it was not so. However, still, I was told to try for all options in life. But my compass was set for the armed forces, and eventually, I guess I applied, and it moved like something like a story which had just started right from the day I applied for my combined defense service exam. And it seems as though the track was rolling. I mean, now that I look back, I felt that it was a movie which had started off at that time, and it played on, and everywhere I seemed to fit in.
So first day, first show.
It was the first day, first show, sir. Absolutely. I never prepared for the SSB. It was what one would call as a pure fresher. That is
Yeah.
what I was. Now, but I look back, I see the things which I tell my candidates today. I guess those were my core strong points, and that is what felt went as the first shot, and I got through.
Yes, I think many of us have similar stories. Being a fresher, and then suddenly you find maybe because of the fierce competition that we have today, and so many people wanting to get into the
Correct.
NDA or the service. I mean, at the graduate level.
Yes, vis-a-vis the fact, I mean, one can, as we are interacting today, there is a little bit of a look back mood which is set in. And as I've been interacting with you, sir, I have also been looking back at what are the things which kind of pushed me and helped me out. First of all, sir, I think right from my school days, I was in a leadership mode
Mhm.
always.
Mhm.
So when we now see other things with candidates, that's how I was one of those on whom the teachers would be they would give me additional responsibilities. I would
Mhm.
be leading many things in school. I would be nominated as a prefect. I was something like a permanent class monitor. And
Okay.
it's not that there was something exceptional, but yes, I did get a all-rounder award in school and all such kind of things. And one of my strong points has always been, and which I stress for the candidates, was that I was very good in general awareness, my GK. In fact, I was with the Born Beta quiz team and all those kind of things.
Oh.
Uh, so that was kind of which saw me through. Not only, I mean, I can share this little secret. Not only did I kind of it helped me for the SSB, it actually helped me for my 12th board and even my 10th board. So I was a person who would rely a lot on my classroom interactions rather
Mhm.
than going back into the book and doing some mugging up. So mugging up has never been a part of my life.
Okay. Yeah, that
Uh,
awareness, if it is there,
Awareness
of course,
is,
that makes
yeah.
so much of
So
a difference.
I would just find any kind of news, anyone, like even those days, there was this moon landing. There was
Mhm.
Yuri Gagarin. He was
Yes.
one of my heroes. And
Mhm.
our Sri Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. I
Mhm.
would more or less every other day be reading something about him. The kind of escapades he did, how he went to Germany, how he met Adolf Hitler, and all those kind of things. These kind of things interest you beyond your normal routine life, and you yearn to get into that kind of a mode
Mhm.
rather than just being in the rigmarole of common life. So that is how, sir, today I feel that at the back of my mind, when I look back at the things which helped me a lot. I mean, I did not know about the 15 officer-like qualities and all such kind of things, which are being taught in such great amount of detail to all the candidates. It is rather, I
Yes.
would say, we are doing spoon feeding at times. However, if you look back, sir, the one single factor which helped me was my, firstly, I was a very active student at all places in every way. Nothing exceptional. I wasn't a super athlete or something like that. But yes, I was pretty respected as a student in terms of my academics. But the one single thing which helped me move forward and also develop my personality, kind of behave, learn, think, all these kinds were my heroes were mostly all from the people who were explorers, who were armed forces people, like General Manekshaw. I mean, such a huge personality. I mean, and those days he was very much there with the common population. I once had a way of chance to look at him after the 71 war. He happened to visit our location also at the
Mhm.
Agricultural Institute in Delhi. He would stand out in the crowd. So
Absolutely.
when you see such people, these are the driving forces, the ideals who become the beacons for developing your own personality. I wanted to be like them. If I would see an officer somewhere, those days, there were few officers to come and interact in the CV world.
Yes.
Yet there was somebody who was a year or so senior to me. He retired as a general from signals. And I happened to see him once as a uniform, and I had seen him without it also. And he came through NDA, and his parents would revel at saying that my son is in NDA, he's done this, he's done that. And then I saw the person with his captain's rank and all. It was something tremendous. It's like you're looking at far beyond, you're looking at the ultimate.
Yeah.
That is what attracted me tremendously to focus on joining the armed forces. If there was something which would give me happiness, that was being with the armed forces, and I have been very blessed that way. I have got commissioned in the regiment of artillery.
Okay.
And some people say that, oh, you should have gone to armored corps and this thing. I've even learnt about tanks. I'm an instructor on 2 tanks. So that happiness also the Almighty gave me, that I know all about them and the guns, the firepower. So there is this arm, which is like, for example, even armored corps you take, or you take the regiment of artillery. These have got the technology as well as the hard work, as well as the frontline exposure.
Absolutely.
So, and at every stage, you're handling such a huge amount of firepower. It is like you really, really need to be by the book, by the hour and by the second.
Yes.
It's not something that with which you can make mistakes or play around with. So I am actually feel very grateful that whichever way my people say fate has taken place, that I became part of artillery, and I would just whenever I would get a chance in my regiment, going next to the guns or the gun tour vehicles, so much of strength they exude that you really feel that you are the one who's going to be controlling that. It gives you a sense of pride. And it has always been so. Even a few days back, I went back to my regiment for a raising day ceremony and celebrations. But the one thing which was pulling me was the fact that I had to go to the gun shed. I had to go and touch my gun and salute it. That could not be that I would just leave the place without touching my 130 millimeter gun.
Okay.
So it's like a part of your life. And that's how the army is just not a profession. So people think you're going to get a job. And when somebody says that, I say, don't come to the armed forces then. Don't come for a job. It is a way of life.
Yeah.
It's a challenge. Every stage you have a dynamic situation unfolding, and you have challenges to meet. And it's a family which grows into you. Today, when I look back, I have my own family, but my biggest family and the first family is the armed forces. It represents the entire nation.
Absolutely.
That is the amazing beauty of it.
Can you run through some experience, that's some memorable experience, that in your handling the guns, RT?
Oh, yes, sir. One of my first such one was when I was with my senior subaltern in the Pokhran firing ranges. And it so happened that within a few weeks, or I would say a month odd of joining, I was lucky that before I went for my young officers course, the YOs, I was out in a camp with my regiment. So nobody can be more happy to be in such a situation where you get to see the entire war machinery unfolding in front of your eyes, and for what purpose it is used for. And the biggest feel was when we went in for our anti-tank firing practice. So I had never been exposed to so much of huge amount of blast in one go. And then now I call it the beast. That is the 130 millimeter. Those days, that was the highest apart. Of course, there was a 7.2-inch gun also, but we had the 130 millimeter, which is a Russian gun. That is the caliber, the bore of the thing, nearly you can say 6 inches in diameter.
Mm-hmm.
When this fires, and that too at the full charge, it has got about, you can say that kind of fire, the propellant blast which takes place to send the shell forward and hit the target. It was something that you find this 7.5-ton gun launched in the air. When it fires, the entire thing goes up and then lands back on Earth.
Yes.
And the shell which was fired and the firepower, I was literally thrown off my feet.
Mm-hmm.
And my ears were ringing for a while. And my subaltern wanted me to experience it because he wanted me to see that if you are feeling this, what is that with the person who is sitting on the gun and actually actuating the lever to fire it.
Mm-hmm.
So this was tremendous. And so I went to see the crater where the shell had landed ultimately.
Okay.
After going through being bang on target. It's a beautiful gun, so it goes always bang on target. It was a crater which was almost 10 feet in length and a few 3-4 feet in depth.
I see.
And my one of my Havaldar said कि साहब इसके अंदर सो के देखो कैसा लगता है जब गोला गिरता है. So I really knew, okay, man, I am going to be with the a powerful system, and it made me respect the entire machinery right from day one. That is one experience. And second one was with my troops in Rashtriya Rifles. Of course, many others before that, but ones which are into action are more which I feel a lot of happiness. So it so happened that I was in an encounter, and there were a slightly larger group of people who had surrounded us. There were a group of terrorists, and this was the area of Banihal. So there was this terrorist, I think he thought that since we were inside at the corner of a building, that he could fire an anti-tank weapon. So he fired a rocket at me, and it would have actually, later on I felt that it would have come and hit me and my group of troops over there. But there happened to be a single pole in the way.
Okay.
And so the rocket hit that
Achha.
instead of coming towards us. And it bounced off.
So it got deflected, you mean?
It got deflected.
Okay, okay.
And we guys were left, actually, we all let out a laugh. And then we let out everything we had at those guys. And so there was nothing left of them after that, of course, with our firepower. But these were those days when there were these Afghani mercenaries who would come and literally challenge your positions.
I see.
And it was fun getting into such fights. Now I can call it fun, but at that moment,
of course,
you can lose a lot in a few seconds.
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, I know that's what is exciting, surprising, and whatever you call it, whatever adjectives you give it, life in the services, you can experience victory, and you can experience sufferings also at the same time, without it is like you said, just that single pole, made all the difference. So yes, that's, I think, very, very nostalgic for you, recalling all those times.
GTO technique, and for that matter, the entire SSB is about your displayed qualities, which people don't know, that the GTO speaks out his briefing so comfortably, as well as other assessors do also, is because these things are grilled inside us in the DIPR.